Maplewood, New Jersey, smelled like autumn that year, crisp air, burnt leaves, and the faint tang of pencil shavings. Emily Carter clutched her babysitter's club notebook to her chest, her too big backpack bumping against her knees as she hurried past the sixth-grade lockers. It was her third week at Maplewood Middle School, and she still hadn't mastered the art of existing in a crowd. Homeschooling hadn't prepared her for this. The roar of the cafeteria, the sticky floors, the girls who huddled like glittering constellations, laughing at jokes she'd never understand. She slid into her usual spot at the back of Mrs. Baker's homeroom, eyes fixed on the clock. 8:02 a.m. Only 6 hours and 28 minutes until escape. Then the door flew open. Danielle Hart, but y'all can call me Dani. The new girl's voice was sunshine in a room of fluorescent lights. She wore overalls with one strap dangling, combat boots, and a grin that said she'd already decided the world was hers. Mrs. Baker gestured to the empty seat beside Emily. You'll be sitting there, Danielle. Emily, share your textbook. Dani plopped down, her neon scrunchie blinding. Nice notebook, she whispered, nodding at Christy Thomas's face on the cover. You a Claudia or a Dawn? Emily blinked. What? Claudia's the artist. Dawn's the vegan. I'm a Stacy, mysterious, glam, cursed with diabetes. She winked, pulling a bag of Skittles from her pocket. Want some? Stolen from my brother. Emily's mom had packed her a rice cake and carrot sticks. Sugar rots the soul, Em. She took a red Skittle. By lunch, Dani had mapped Emily's universe. The quiet girl loved Anne of Green Gables, hated gym class, and could recite every Friends episode by heart. You're like a secret genius, Dani declared, stealing Emily's apple. Why you hiding? I'm not hiding, I'm observing. Observing what? Jason Miller picking his nose? Dani snorted, loud enough to make the popular table glance over. Emily flinched, but Dani just waved. Relax, they're gonna love us by Halloween. How do you know? Because I'm teaching you the Dani Hart Survival Guide. Rule 1, never eat lunch in a bathroom stall. It's tragic and it smells like pee. Emily's first real laugh surprised them both. That Friday, they carved their initials into the old oak behind the soccer field. E+D. Dani pocketed the pocket knife. Sisters before misters, okay? No guy's ever gonna mess with this. Emily nodded, her chest tight with a joy she didn't have words for. But as they walked home, Dani paused. You ever think, maybe we'll be the misters someday? Like, what if we fall for the same guy? That's impossible, Emily said. Why? Because you'd never let me pick a loser. Dani grinned. Dan right. The barn smelled of hay and hydrangeas, its wooden beams draped with twinkling fairy lights. Emily stood at the makeshift altar, her ivory lace dress pooling around her like spilled cream. Outside, cicadas hummed in the sticky July heat, but inside, all she heard was the rustle of Dani adjusting her maid of honor bouquet. You look like a cupcake, Dani whispered, flicking Emily's veil. A radiant cupcake. Emily swatted her, but her hands trembled. 3 years of dating Ethan Collins, she thought. 3 years of his roses on her doorstep, his promises to build a life worth bragging about. She glanced at him now, broad-shouldered in his charcoal suit, laughing with his groomsmen. Her husband. The word felt foreign, thrilling. Dani followed her gaze. You sure about this, Em? The question was soft, but it landed like a stone. Emily stiffened. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Just. Dani tugged at her champagne-colored bridesmaid dress, its sequins catching the light. Real estate agents shouldn't smile that much. It's creepy, like a used car salesman. Jealousy's a bad color on you, Emily teased, but her chest tightened. She'd seen the way Dani's jaw clenched when Ethan joked about her hippie hiking phase at the rehearsal dinner. The music swelled. Dani squeezed her arm. Sisters before misters, right? Then Ethan was there, his cologne, something expensive and woodsy, drowning out the barn's sweetness. Ready to make this legal, Nurse Carter? The reception blurred into toasts and Taylor Dane covers. Dani watched Ethan twirl Emily on the dance floor, his hand possessive on her waist. Too tight, she thought. Like he's marking territory. Later, by the cupcake tower, she cornered him. Hurt her, and I'll feed you to the coyotes in Sedona. Ethan raised his bourbon, smirk sharp. Relaxed, Danielle. I'm the best thing that's ever happened to her. At midnight, Emily tossed her bouquet. Dani caught it. A tangle of peonies and bad luck. You're next, the crowd cheered. Dani fake gagged. Hard pass. I've got a date with the Appalachian Trail. But Emily, flushed with champagne, hugged her. You'll find your person. I know it. Dani glanced at Ethan, now whispering with a blonde bridesmaid. Yeah, sure. 3 years later. The cracks began small. A missed anniversary dinner. Client emergency, babe. A lipstick stain on his collar. Hugged mom at lunch. You know how she overdresses. A password on his iPhone. Security upgrade, Emily. Don't be paranoid. But on a rainy Tuesday, flipping through cable channels, Emily froze. Ethan's face flashed on HGTV. Collins Realty's newest star, the banner read. Beside him, the blonde from the wedding grinned. Her hand brushed his sleeve. Emily's rice cake turned to ash in her mouth. The Maplewood Diner's neon sign flickered like a distress signal. Emily slid into their usual booth, the one with the torn vinyl seat and a view of the parking lot. Dani was already there, nursing a black coffee and a scowl. He's late, Emily said, checking her Motorola Razr for the 10th time. Stuck at the office. Ethan's text read. Order me pancakes. Dani stabbed a straw into her drink. You sure this surprise spy mission isn't just his excuse to bail? He doesn't know we're here. Emily's laugh sounded tinny, even to herself. It's our anniversary next week. I'm gathering intel for his gift. Dani raised an eyebrow. Intel, right. Ethan arrived at 8:17 p.m., all dimples in Armani cologne. Emily ducked behind a menu, heart pounding. Relax, Dani muttered. He's not Jason Bourne. But Emily's breath hitched as a woman slid into the booth beside Ethan. Lila Carmichael, her honey blonde hair sleek under the diner's fluorescence. Business partners, Emily whispered, nails digging into her palms. They're just discussing listings. Dani leaned forward. Since when do business partners hold hands under the table? The waitress delivered Ethan's pancakes. Lila laughed at something he said, her foot brushing his calf. Emily's vision blurred. Let's go. Dani tossed cash on the table. Confront his ass. No, I need proof. Proof? Dani grabbed Emily's phone, snapping a photo just as Lila kissed Ethan's cheek. Here's your damn proof. Ethan looked up. His smile froze. The parking lot asphalt burned through Emily's sandals. Ethan chased them, his voice syrup thick. Babe, it's not what you think. Lila's my mentor. Dani whirled, blocking Emily like a shield. Mentors don't tongue wrestle over syrup. Jealous much, Dani? Ethan sneered, still bitter. I picked Emily. Emily flinched. Picked. Like she was a prize at a county fair. Show her your phone, Dani demanded. Right now. Ethan hesitated, a half-second too long. Emily lunged, snatching his iPhone. Password, 1225. Their anniversary. The screen lit up. Recent texts. Lila, 8:02 p.m. Can't wait for the Poconos this weekend. Bring the handcuffs. The world tilted. Emily's ears rang. Let me explain. She threw the phone. It shattered against the diner's dumpster. You're garbage, Dani spat. Worse than garbage. Garbage gets recycled. Ethan laughed, cold, sharp. You think she'll choose you? Look at her. She's nothing without me. Emily's voice shook. Dani, let's go. Gladly. But as they turned, Ethan hissed, Go ahead, Dani. Tell her about Sedona. Dani froze. The highway to Sedona blurred behind Emily's tears. Her SUV smelled like Ethan's cologne and betrayal. Dani sat rigid in the passenger seat, clutching a crumpled map. It wasn't an affair, Dani said, voice frayed. He showed up at my campsite, said he was protecting you by keeping me away. Emily white-knuckled the steering wheel. From what? From himself. Dani's laugh was bitter. Told me you'd never believe he was cheating. Said if I stayed quiet, he'd fund my blog. If I didn't... Emily swerved onto the gravel shoulder. If you didn't what? Dani unzipped her backpack, tossing Emily a burner phone. Ethan's texts. Oct 12. Back off or I'll ruin her. Oct 15. Sedona's full of cliffs. Accidents happen. They parked at a cliffside overlook, red rocks bleeding into dusk. Emily traced the texts, her wedding ring catching the dying light. Why didn't you tell me? And risk you defending him? Dani kicked a stone into the void. You loved him more than logic. The words hung like a verdict. Emily dropped Dani at a Motel 6. I need space. Don't. The drive to her aunt's Colorado cabin took 14 hours. Emily played Ethan's voicemails on loop. You're overreacting. Leela's just a friend. Come home. We'll fix this. She deleted them one by one. The cabin welcomed her with cobwebs and cedar-scented silence. In the attic, she found a dusty box labeled High Seul, Do Not Open. Inside, a babysitter's club notebook, Dani's neon scrunchie, a sealed envelope, to Emily if she ever stops being a dumbass. Love, Dani, 2002. The letter was a ramble, apologies for missing Emily's 16th birthday, fears Ethan was a Ken doll with a demon soul. Last line, whatever happens, I'll always need you more than he ever will. Emily built a bonfire, watched the pages curl to ash. At dawn, headlights pierced the mist. Dani stepped out holding 2 thermoses, black coffee and whiskey. How'd you find me? You texted me this address in 10th grade. Our future writer's retreat. Emily sipped the whiskey. It burned like forgiveness. The cabin's porch light flickered as Ethan stepped out of his Lexus, his shadow stretching like a stain across the snow. Dani grabbed Emily's arm. Stay behind me. Or what? Ethan's laugh was a bark. You'll throw a granola bar at me? Emily stepped forward, her breath visible in the freezing air. Leave. Now. This is my cabin, he lied smoothly. Your aunt sold it to me last week. Surprise, babe. Dani snorted. Bullshit. Emily's had the keys since high school. Ethan's smile hardened. He tossed a folded document into the snow. A forged deed. Check the county records. Now pack your shit, Emily. We're done playing. Inside, Emily dialed 911. No signal. Dani cursed, eyeing the storm outside. He cut the landline. Ethan pounded on the door. You think I'd let you ruin me? I built you. Built me? Emily's voice shook. I paid your debts. I lied to Mom about your business trips. And you'll keep lying. Ethan's silhouette loomed in the window. Or I'll bury your little hiker friend in lawsuits. Sedona wasn't her only accident. Dani froze. Phoenix. That fire at the hotel. Coincidences happen. Ethan's grin glinted. Emily lunged for the fireplace poker, but Dani stopped her. He's not worth prison. Instead, she yanked open the door. Wind howled inside. You want a war? Dani shouted over the gale. Let's go viral. She held up the burner phone, red recording light glowing. Every threat. Every lie, including the one about Leela's miscarriage. Ethan paled. Delete that. Or what? Emily stepped forward, poker in hand. You'll push me off a cliff. For the first time, Ethan stumbled back. A gunshot cracked the night. Not Ethan's. A park ranger's flashlight pierced the dark. Hands up. We got a call about trespassing. Ethan spun, slick as ever. Thank God. These women are delusional. The ranger cuffed him. Save it, Mr. Collins. Your assistant Leela sang like a canary. Embezzlement. Arson. Blackmail. Emily swayed, clutching Dani. Oh, and Emily? The ranger tossed her an envelope. Your aunt's real deed. He never owned shit. The Sedona sunrise painted the canyon walls in hues of amber and rust. Emily stood at the trailhead, Dani's old compass in her palm, its needle trembling toward the horizon. Behind her, the search and rescue team radioed updates. She's out here, Emily whispered. I can feel it. Dani adjusted her backpack, her voice steady. We'll find her. And when we do, Ethan's gonna wish he'd stayed in jail. 3 days earlier, the photo of Ethan's daughter, Sophie, 16, missing since August, had consumed Emily. The girl's eyes, wide and fearful, mirrored her own in middle school. Another life Ethan had shattered. Why help her? Dani had asked as they packed supplies. After everything he did? Emily zipped her hiking boots. Because she's not him, and neither am I. Now, deep in the canyon, they found Sophie's camp. a tattered tent, empty protein bar wrappers, and a journal filled with sketches of red rocks, and a man who looked like Ethan. Journal entry. He promised Mom a house. All lies. I ran before he could sell me too. Dani radioed the coordinates. We're close. They found Sophie at dawn, curled under a sandstone overhang, her face gaunt but fierce. I'm not going back, she rasped. Emily knelt, offering a water bottle. Neither are we. The press swarmed the courthouse steps. Ethan, out on bail, smirked for the cameras until Sophie stepped forward. My name's Sophie Collins, and this man trafficked my mom. The crowd erupted. Ethan's lawyer quit on the spot. That night, Emily and Dani sat on the cabin's porch, Sophie asleep inside. What now? Dani asked. Emily handed her a flyer. Wilderness retreat for survivors, counselors needed. Dani grinned. You're gonna hate hiking. But I'll love this. Emily nodded to Sophie, tracing constellations through the window. 1 year later. The retreat's opening day buzzed with laughter. Sophie taught teens to sketch, Dani led trail hikes, and Emily managed the front desk, flanked by a bearded park ranger named Ben. Mail for you? Ben said, dropping a postcard on her desk. Front? A Phoenix high-rise. Back? Athens serving 25 years. Enjoy the view. Lila. Emily tossed it into the campfire. As the flames swallowed the past, she realized some roads don't end, they just widen, leaving space for others to walk beside you.